Imagine you're in a discussion with someone, except it's not really a discussion. Instead, what's happening is they're lecturing you about how your beliefs are completely off base, while theirs are the only ones that are realistic. Your temper is flaring, as every time you try to speak up, they talk over you, or tell you you're being ignorant. They're not taking you seriously at all, and you're certainly not taking them seriously. Has anyone ever changed your mind by talking at you? When there's an important issue or unusual event taking place in our world or government, people tend to flock to online avenues such as Facebook to share their views. The issue with this is that it's not civil discourse, typically, that results in broadened perspectives. Rather, it's people forcefully presenting their opinions, making no room for alternatives, and rather than providing evidence, they use fear-mongering and even name-calling and insults in extreme cases to make their point. It is probable that you or someone you know has fallen into the trap of online Facebook arguments at least once. Reconsider the scenario you thought of when I asked you to think of a time when someone has talked over you or dismissed your views. Do you feel the irritation bubbling up? You probably wouldn't want to make anyone else feel like that. The issue is when we're not being intentional about having respectful debates with someone, it can be easy to let our passion overshadow other people's opinions. Political arguments are common, but oftentimes they're facilitated in a way that only stirs up negative feelings. Today, I'd like to talk to you about first, the negative repercussions of interacting with online political arguments. Second, how you can more effectively be politically active. And finally, how you and your relationships will benefit from your decision to be a respectful, open-minded, and well-informed activist. First, I'll go into the negative repercussions of interacting with this type of post. When you choose to take part in these political discussions online, likely you won't be teaching anyone anything or learning. What will happen is you'll be surrounded by people who want to be heard and believed, but don't provide any supporting evidence. This results in fruitless arguments that just frustrate everyone and waste everyone's time and energy. Instead of solving any problems by coming together, you've just wasted time spreading fear and creating division. Additionally to this, you can create barriers in your friendships. I surveyed several people who have Facebook, and what I found is that before they take part in a political post, they do little to no research at all. That means that if most people are going into these political posts and discussing politics without any factual knowledge, this is just a recipe for chaos. I'm sure you can see how interacting with these argumentative posts can be negative, but you must be wondering, how can I take part in politics in a way that is healthy and effective? Well, let me tell you. Here are some ways that you can be politically active in a healthy way. Conversations with willing participants are a great place to start. If they know what they're getting into, they're more likely to come to the discussion knowledgeable and well supported about their claims. They're more likely to have an open mind, be respectful of what you're saying, and teach you in a way that is effective and will expand your way of thinking. If you facilitate this discussion in a healthy way, based around respect, you will be far more likely to learn from each other, and if you walk away from the discussion still disagreeing, you won't have hurt your relationship at all. If you'd like to take your activism a step further, you can find an organization that starts petitions, rallies, and on-hands relief of an issue. Find a group that lines up with your way of thinking but isn't afraid of new ideas or change. Then you can engage with their activities to be a positive influence on your community. Now that I've told you a few ways that you can engage in more healthy ways politically, I'll tell you how this can benefit you. Avoiding argumentative online posts can save you time and frustration and help you to not create division between yourself and others. Instead of bickering and seeing a complete lack of progress, you could see solidarity at a rally, or see firsthand how helping someone is highly important, or inform our leadership of the actual interests of the people. The problem arises when you don't find a healthy platform to communicate from. What you do then is you just fight each other, but nobody has any interest in learning or changing their thoughts. It's like fighting a brick wall. No change takes place, and everyone just leaves bitter. As you can see, avoiding argument for the sake of argument can be rewarding, especially if instead you find ways to serve and improve your community. I've told you about the negative repercussions of interacting with argumentative political posts on the internet, how you can be more effective politically, and finally, how you can benefit from choosing to be more respectful, open-minded, and informed as an activist. You can do this by having respectful conversations with the people nearby you and by finding organizations to take part in. You likely don't agree with everyone all the time. However, what if your disagreement turns into harsh words and broken relationships? Rather than doing that, you could work together to enact actual change in our world.